Hi, welcome again. And in this video, I'm just going to share with you on how to end a conflict with somebody. Right? I mean, first and foremost thing, let me tell you, having a conflict with somebody else is not useful. It's just not good because our life is too short for us to have conflict with other people. I mean, it's not useful. It could be with your loved ones back at home, it could be somebody at work, and so on. But trust me, having a conflict with somebody is just not useful. But by chance you have a conflict with somebody, I'll tell you, I'll make you understand how to come out of the conflict. Now, first and foremost thing, remember, each and every one of us have our own model of the world. What you perceive is just the way you want to perceive, and what the other person perceives is very different. So each one of us have our own model of the world, and trust me, everyone is correct in their own model of the world. The other person is right in their own shoes, in their own perspective, right? So that's the first thing that I wanted to understand. So the reason for a conflict is because both of you have different perceptions about the same thing. Yeah, now, how do you put an end to this conflict? Now, first and foremost thing is sit and discuss. Find a time where you can sit and discuss on what's wrong, on what happened. When you take time to discuss, trust me, there's a lot of easing out. Your relationship with the other person eases out a lot more. Your communication becomes better. So thereby, you don't even give room for any conflict. I mean, if you've done it before, even the conflict arises, it's much better. But say by chance there is a conflict, then first set aside a time so that you can sit and discuss on the same matter and issue. All right? So that's the first thing. Now, the other one is this. Once you sit down to discuss, look at the issue and not the person involved. You cannot have any personal grudge or personal things against the person because the issue is different from the person. Learn how to differentiate the issue from the person. When you're able to differentiate the issue and the person, you focus on what? You focus on only the issue to be, or the challenge that is there on the table. You don't focus on the person. So you kind of know what you're supposed to do rather than getting personal about it, rather than getting, something against the person. So look at the issue and not the person involved. All right. Now, once you do that, you need to listen. Establish facts from the other person's model of the world. Establish reasons as to why the person is perceiving the way that he or she is. Find out what created that model of the world for the person. Like I told you, the conflict is not because of the individual, the conflict is because of two different ideas about the same thing, right? So if you're able to look at ideas, look at the same thing from the other person's perspective, the other person's model of the world, then you start finding out how to resolve the conflict, or you at least know the deep reason or the true reason for this conflict, right? So establish the right facts about the conflict, about the other person's model of the world. Now, once you do that, look at a win-win situation, right? So, which means you need to focus on the solutions. You cannot focus on whether I am right or the other person is right. You cannot do that because what you do is for a specific purpose. Both of you have a common objective, have a common outcome, and for that outcome or whatever it be, you have two different ideas. So the ideas might be different, but the outcome is same. So you need to look at the win-win situation rather than looking at a win-lose or lose-win situation. That way, both of you help yourself to achieve the outcome rather than you getting things too personal, taking things too personal, right? You achieve the outcome in hand, right? And importantly, for you to be able to do all of this, remember, you need to be calm and you need to be in listening and accepting mode. When you're calm, when you're in the listening and the mode of acceptance, then the conflict is resolved much, much more faster. All right? So these are the ways that you need to resolve a conflict. Like I said, do your best to avoid conflict, but if at all there's a conflict, understand everybody have different models of the world. Your model of the world is very different from my model of the world. Yeah? Now, once you understand that, set aside a time to discuss, right? Once you set aside a time to discuss, look at the issue, look at the challenge and not the person involved. Once you look at the issue, look at things from the other person's model of the world. Find out what actually creates the conflict. Look at the root cause. And once you look at the root cause, look for a win-win solution. Look at the outcome that has to be achieved, right? When you do that, you stop getting into a conflict, or the conflict that you possibly have with the other person comes to an end, right? So resolve conflicts with people so that your life becomes much, much better. Have a great life. Life will never be the same.